Warfare is just a form of negotiation. It is not dependent upon hate. Territory or resources someone wants for themselves. Ideology, religion, pride. Wars are fought for those objectives all the time. And once those objectives have been met, the war comes to an end. Either that, or the war will end when the overall human cost outweighs the gains. Anger and hatred are nothing more than tools used to tilt a war in someone's favor. Warfare is just a form of negotiation.
Yeah, the map that BRICS country are about to form, but mostly focus on our Asia, Europe, and Middle East continent.
Yep.
Anyway, so yeah, obviously the topic I wanted to say is that recently China and Russia had a meeting in Moscow. So they were discussing about they are actually forming their alliance, reaffirming their alliance lah. And the most important topics were definitely give me a moment. Okay. The most important topics were, they're trying to reaffirm, the oil alliance, bilateral trade, as in like bilateral trade in a more on steroids, in a better, higher level trade.
Yep.
The de-dollarization, and also both of them, continuously buying gold.
Yeah, I think a lot of investment guru will tell you to buy gold as well, right? Like Robert Kiyosaki, now they tell you to buy Bitcoin. So yeah, but I would say it makes sense it totally makes sense for this country, like especially Iran and Russia, right? They are forever getting sanctioned. So you're saying that I cannot trade normally, right? And you say that I cannot initiate the World War III, and it's not fair, right? Because you're telling them they are not part of the game, and then you tell them to play nicely. I think it won't happen, because it's just like in your high school or with a group of dogs, right? With a pack of wolf or anything. If you keep the two cubs or lion or whatever out of the group, out of the pack, then something is going to happen. Because even though we like to use the word like lone wolf or like individualistic, but it doesn't work that way. If you kick them out of the system, then you expect them to be jokers, right? Because Batman is still part of the system, but Joker is already out of the system. So Joker will do the Joker stuff. So I'm just saying that you should feel blessed that Iran or Russia are so peaceful, I would say, even though, people don't like them, but I think they can be a lot nasty.
Actually, if you think about it, right, if you follow like the recent news, right, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, Iran also starting to become friendlier amongst each other.
Yep.
Also because oil energy, right, is gonna come to an end. Eventually they're gonna run out of reserves. So there's no point in fighting each other. And also because you see Russia and China are already forming a bloc. So what is if the Middle East do not consolidate, right, there won't be they won't have like a bargaining power.
Yeah.
They won't have any bargaining power. Yeah.
I would say from I think China is the reason of peace. Actually, the funny thing is China is the peacemaker, because like Iran is the I forgot, Sunni and Shia, right?
Shia.
Yeah,
No,
Iran
the Shia is
Iran
the Saudi Arabia is Sunni.
Yeah. I mean, almost everyone is Sunni except Iran, which is a Shia. So they have been fighting, right? So who are the middlemen for them to meet up, right? China. So now China is the peacekeeper. So now when when there's conflict in the world, right? Now China is the peacekeeper, the peacemaker. So for a few hundred years, right? For thousands of years, right? Shia and Sunni has been fighting. So they have been fighting for 1,000 years or more. And China comes in, and Iran whisper to President Xi, is like, "Psst, psst, can you help me with Saudi?" And then the king of Saudi, right, the prince of Saudi, whisper to Xi Jinping, is like, "Psst, psst, can you help me to make friend with Xia?" So you, I would say now it's in a funny state that first, China is a peacekeeper. Second, the funny thing is that, like, 50 years ago or 80 years ago, right? Like, the US military can just drive to Saudi Arab and say, "I'll buy all your oil," and then use US dollar. But now, but the problem is today, right? US dollar went to Saudi, is like, "Please produce less oil, buy my oil." You see the problem? It's like 80
I
years
think
ago.
a more better example for recently is that during the midterm election, right, Saudi Arabia, right, said because they were still having an energy crisis,
Yep.
they tell Saudi Arabia, doesn't listen to the US lah. So the US fly all the way down to to Saudi Arabia, but the president, right, wasn't welcome early lah. They tell you, you wait there for a bit. You wait there.
Yeah.
I welcome Russia. President Putin first.
Yeah.
I
I
have a
mean,
guest first.
yeah. I mean,
Then after that,
mhm.
no, but then the point is that, right, the United States, the intention to come to Saudi Arabia is to tell them, okay, here's the deal. You can make all this, you can make all this deal, but after the midterm election, we just need that time. We need to win the election.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, who need to win the election?
Obviously, President Biden's party
Oh,
lah.
okay. Yeah, but I would like to say, you see, that's the problem, because I think the major problem is the mutual benefit. Because imagine, right, 50 years ago or 80 years ago, there is no oil and gas technology. Everything come from Shell or like Petron or Rockefeller or Standard Oil or whatever, like Petron, Esso. It's like no one can explore the oil, right? So you really need the European and the Americans. And after you produce the oil, you need the buyer, right? And who are the buyer? United States. But today, right, United States are your competitors. So I think you know, right? Now United States is the biggest exporter of oil in the world. So US
Yeah, they release their shale oil mah.
Yeah. So United States export more shale gas and oil than Russia, and or you compare it to Middle East. So what's clear for Middle East, right? Okay, what Middle East are known for? The Prince of Oil, right? The place that produce oil, right? And what is the fact? What is the reality? What is the truth? They are no longer the Prince of Oil. The empire of oil is United States. So if you're the Prince of Middle East, right, you'll be like, shit, last time I'm a producer, now I need to be a buyer. So who is the buyer now? Actually, just China. What, just one word, China, Japan, China, Japan, India, China, Japan. So you if you talk about the problem of if you are the CEO or the king of any of these Middle East country, your in your mind is like, US want to kill me. Who buy my oil? China, India, Japan.
That's why, yeah, that's why in the end, right, Germany, in yesterday's discussion, that's why Germany, BMW, suddenly shocked the whole car market and launched hydrogen vehicle. I mean, we already discussed, hydrogen in length yesterday lah.
Yeah.
You can put a link there.
Yep.
Anyway, the funny thing is that, right, the Middle East are getting together. Previously, right, Yemen and Saudi Arabia are fighting. suddenly, right, recently also, they decide to become friends also.
Yeah,
They want a peace deal also.
I think they learn from China. You see, that's the problem. They learn from China because for the past 80 years, right, from 1946, meaning the end of World War II, who 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 are the players in Middle East? Either Europe, France, UK, US, and Russia, like Soviet Union. Like I remember Iran, like the Shia, was the Americans' number one friend because in all the
Because
Muslim, yeah, they're
they
open.
installed, actually, they they launched the CIA launched a coup,
Yeah,
funded a coup in Iran. So they installed a puppet ruler called the Shah of Iran, Reza
yeah,
Shah Reza.
yeah, but
And
to
then
be
after that, the clergy, the Islamic Revolution happened.
Yep, but yeah, I mean to be fair, right? To be very fair, right? Iran is is the only Muslim country that feels like it can be absorbed to the Western world. How to say is like the lifestyle, like they can dress like any ordinary Americans or even us. Now I think most of us are like American today.
Prior,
And
before Iran is named Iran, right? They are actually the Kingdom of Persia.
yeah, I know that. Yeah, thanks for reminding because they are Persian, right? And then in the people of Iranian in for the Iranian, they are more Persian than Muslim. So from the Western world, I mean, to be fair, Iran is the most open country, and they are the only I think the Middle Eastern country that has very good pride that they will do invention, they will like believe in science, and then not just like live a luxurious life. So I think it is not an accident that 80 years ago, right, United States chose Iran. So of course many things happen. Of course we know that after that Iran got the weapon from Soviet Union, and Saudi Arabia got the weapon from United States. That is like I think 1980s already. I'm not too sure, but what I want to say is like you see like all these people, like all these Middle East, they that time they can betray anyone for very little profit, and that's why they have no peace because none of these countries respect each other, and they are willing to kill every single one just for some very little profit offered by maybe American or the army or anyone. So today is like I think they are tired with all this thing they want to build, right? And the funny thing is China is the peacemaker. So I think most of
I feel
this,
that actually, let me just interrupt for a moment.
yeah,
Actually, I
sure,
feel
sure,
that,
sure.
right. Remember what you told me about, oh, with the American presence, right? They is how to say, if let's say I were to trade in gold, right?
Yep.
You remember the story you told me? If I were to trade in gold, right, immediately I'll be invaded. So almost there's always a US base always in any Middle Eastern country. So what I feel the reason why, right, they don't dare to, gather to group up is on the basis that, right, what if that, right, the Americans are alerted and they straight away started getting invaded. Yeah, just next to each other,
Yeah,
just so you know.
yeah. And also,
Okay, then
yep,
that's just a first joke lah. But the
yep.
second thing is that, right, the only time they can ever convene is during Ramadan. I mean not Ramadan lah, I mean I mean like Hari Raya lah, Idul
Yeah,
Fitri
yep.
or Eid lah. So that's the only time when they finally get together. Okay, everybody, let's have a discussion.
Yeah, yeah. I think the most importantly is like when you control the energy, you control the world. I would say for the past 80 years, right? The US military strategists, right? The strategy is clear. Control the energy, control the world. So energy is more powerful than inflation rate or US dollar. So that at that point they have incentive to control Middle East. Right now for United States, right? First, they are the biggest producer. They need people to buy US oil. it's not about Middle East oil anymore. It's about US oil. So there's no reason for them to control Middle East. That's number one. And then how to say, the weapon and whatever is like, it's different time, right?
Whatever
Like
sunk costs.
yeah, a lot of some costs. It's like, imagine like many years ago, they just need to drill a few oil well, right? They just need a few well, and then they become dirt rich. But today, right, it's like most of the well are established. The customer is fixed, with the Chinese population growing too old. So Japan first, and then now China, South Korea. So the oil demand, right, is peaking very, very soon. So it will peak. So, and then also the Tesla, the American pride Tesla. So this Tesla is also killing the oil. I mean, it won't kill the oil, but it will kill the future investment. Meaning, if your daily, maybe every day you earn like 500 billion, and it's going to be 400 billion or 500 billion for the next 30 years. It won't be like 2 trillion, 3 trillion. So they will focus on like Tesla or electric car, which should be earning a few trillion in the future. So no prospect. So I would say, and then like, I think this better than me, is like, people say petrodollar. So without the Saudi petrol, right, where is the dollar? Because for the Saudi Arabia, Iraq, they have no pride, right? Iran, why they fall, right? Why they got sanctioned? Because they are the only Middle Eastern country with pride, so proud that they are willing to give up US dollar. Like, even like you see like Qatar, Dubai, they will kowtow for the US dollar. They will lose their pride, they will lose their soul for the US dollar, not Iran. But without US government buying the oil, right? Why Saudi Arabia princes need to sell their soul to United States? So that's why I just say people are very realistic. Everyone is greed. Everything is about greed. And the problem is, United States cannot satisfy the Middle Eastern's greed anymore, because they are not buying the oil. People are just shallow. Like Saudi Arabian prince, they want to live like a god. They want to have like gold. They want to sit in the Lamborghini. They want like hot chicks, hot women. They want to play with eagle and lions. So if the United States starts supporting their luxurious lifestyle, right? So why they don't find China? Because these people are very realistic. They just want money. Who give me money? And without US giving the money, why I need the dollar? So no more petrol, no more dollar. So no more United States. if you are the Middle Eastern people. Oh, sorry, I think we spend too much time on this. But I mean, we miss out Russia. We don't talk about China or Mongolia or Kazakhstan, or even like Ukraine. I think there's a lot of story there. But yeah, I think it's clear, right? Like for Middle Eastern people, yeah.
Yeah, but the point is that, this so-called alliance, right, mega, although it's only like two country, right, it literally, like, started peace proceedings and integration between the Middle East.
Yep.
And then while that's happening, Europe is still, trying to pick themselves up. But the thing is that, right, you literally, everybody channel all their money towards the war.
Yep.
So they literally, like, instead of, they literally supplied nutrient when they should be amputating. That was
Okay.
yesterday's conversation.
Yep.
They keep supplying the nutrient, which is money, instead of amputating the problem. That's why what I'm saying is that this engineered, this so-called engineered approach, right, to it's what's the word I'm looking for? It's more like a cloak and daggers, a very, very elaborate cloak and daggers. It's just like India. Actually, I wanted to tell you something.
Yep.
Now I remember. Uh, there is a movie lah. I watched last year. It's about
Movie.
India's nuclear bomb lah. The creation of their nuclear bomb. They tried to become a nuclear power like 1950s, but they failed because the US satellites were spying on them. So after maybe like I can't remember how many years later, they restarted their nuclear ambition, but to do that they needed to to work very to work. They have a very limited working time because the satellites are always observing the test site.
Mhm.
So after that, right, it came to a point where okay, this is getting ridiculous. The director for the program, right, told the they call it RAW lah, RAW, which is Research Analysis Wing. It's just India's intelligence lah. They tell you, okay, we need to get the American satellite out of our bags. This is the most crucial moment of the of the nuclear proliferation. We need you to start the Kargil War. Yes, I'm not joking. They needed the India to start a war with Pakistan,
Oh, okay.
so that they divert all the attention towards the war. Everyone's was diverted to that one.
Mhm.
That gave them a lot more time, right, to work on to build their their nuclear to build their nuclear thing nuclear bomb lah.
Yep.
So finally they joined after that they joined the nuclear club lah,
Yep.
where they detonated their first nuclear weapon,
Mhm.
nuclear bomb lah.
Mhm.
Or was it atom bomb? I don't know lah. Either
Yeah.
way, as a result of that, India finally have the ability to bargain. But of course, after that, 2 weeks later, right, Pakistan also got a nuclear weapon. So that was a short thing. But the point I'm trying to make is this war, right, is exactly what happened in history lah, whereby the war is designed to divert everyone's attention to the real,
Conflict.
to the real objective,
Okay.
to the real goal.
Mhm.
Not GOLD, GOAL, to the real goal, which is actually, hey guys, I make you all pour so much money on,
Mhm.
on nothing, which is what you've been saying this the whole conversation. Bullshit. Pouring a lot of bullshit to more bullshit.
Yeah.
And in the end, thanks to you all, we finally have independence. We finally able to de-dollarize. You accelerated all our plans.
Yeah.
So I guess while you guys are playing, tic-tac-toe, I'm playing chess or checkers.
Yeah. So we don't know whether that is true, but probably it's true. I mean, it's good to have a conspiracy theory, right? It makes you think.
From my perspective lah, at the beginning of the war, from my perspective at the beginning of the war, the only objective that I assume Putin wants to achieve, right, is geopolitical, is to cut off the Ukrainians and to gain more access to the sea, and to
Yeah.
like liberate, so-called, control the west side of Ukraine.
Yeah. Actually,
But
now I think of it, right? Maybe the real objective is the lose-lose scenario. It's like if NATO want to turn Ukraine into European Union and NATO, I will give you hell because you got Ukraine in NATO. I don't care. I just want everyone to suffer together. I don't know who is the winner, who is the loser, but I will make everyone suffer for sure.
it wasn't apparent for me. Actually, the financial thing wasn't apparent to me. It's more like, I know that, right, Russia will drag the war, and I know that Putin is thinking about the 20, 30 years ahead for the Russian people. I never the financial thing, the de-dollarization, the oil play and all that, right? It wasn't apparent to me. But I know that from the very beginning, right, they have a bargaining tool, which is the oil, which is their energy source to keep Europe from intervening. But
Okay.
nevertheless, they still intervene.
Okay, why don't we talk about future? So what do you think about this China-Iran coalition? Because like for the economic trade, I think Mongolia, Kazakhstan, like all the neighboring country will be interesting because and then Saudi Arabia, right? I think Saudi Arabia already signed contract with China that they will be trading for yuan. So
Okay, let's just make a few things. Let's just state a few facts lah. To begin, remember before the pandemic, right?
mhm,
Remember what China had. Remember what China organized lah.
don't
Tai
remember.
Yilu
Oh
One Belt
yeah,
One
yeah,
Road.
One Belt One Road, yeah.
Yeah, so this so-called mega project, right, already built their infrastructure across the across your Asia to Europe. It's literally what you like to call the Silk Road 2.0,
Mhm, yeah,
the Silk Road updated Silk Road lah.
yep.
Meaning to say, all the existing roads are upgraded, new train lines, supply lines, etc., etc. But all roads, remember last time all roads lead to Rome? Now it's all roads lead back to China.
Well,
It's still an ongoing thing lah, One Belt
well,
One Road, but it's not really
well,
promoted much. But
from
it's
China,
already done.
from China point of view, right? The Silk Road Route 1.0 leads to China as well.
I mean, yeah, lah, correct lah. It does lead to China lah, but
Yeah.
all roads also eventually leads to Rome mah.
Yeah, I mean, no, I would say Rome is the other end of the road. Yeah.
Yeah lah, correct lah.
The final destination, but the product come from China. So that is the first time in the history that China earned too much silver from Rome because China sell all the silk, right? And the Western world doesn't know how to make silk. Yeah.
Yeah lah.
Just joking,
and
just
then
joking.
if we
Yeah.
talk about and then also the other thing is that, right, Africa, right, is example, the European, remember yesterday what I told you that Russia has Belarus as their puppet to, to block any European Union votes
Mm-hmm.
for European Union, right, for Russia. So for China, on the other hand, right, Africa is used to influence United Nations voting.
Wow. Well, I would
In
say,
favor of China.
well, I would
No,
say,
that is the fact. That is the fact. It is their geopolitical objective in Africa.
yep. But I was saying that it is also inevitable because the only friend that China can make is Africa. And from Africa point of view, right, China is the only country that care about Africa. So I mean, it's a win-win
In a way, yes.
win-win resolution. So you can't do much about it. I mean, I won't say that China just influenced the leader by corruption or bribery. I would say that, like,
Oh no, it's they just influenced by like through goodwill and etc.
yeah.
etc.
So I would say,
infrastructure projects, etc.
yeah,
etc.
yeah. I just need to make that clear because, like, the problem is like actually they are in the same. They are facing the same problem. They are the not so important. They are the third world country, not so important country in the world. So they find
You cannot say that already leh.
they
They
find the
already they're
common
actually
goals.
quite
Yeah.
can't say that already leh. They're more advanced than us, man.
Well, they are advanced, but they don't get the benefit of being advanced. So
Yeah, sadly.
yeah, so they just try to find a balance. So that's why I say it's a natural progress. So yeah, I mean, but
Yeah.
it go back to the story, right? This Russia, China, Iran, Saudi Arabia, whether it works is whether they got more benefit by being together. So I mean, it's important in the sense that you should keep more renminbi if it's true because United States will screw up. So And then it also affect to all these countries, because all these countries for them is like, should I keep so much US dollar, or I just need to keep some renminbi? So I mean, it is a very realistic real life issue for everyone, because you want to survive, right?
Warfare is just a form of negotiation. It is not dependent upon hate. Territory or resources someone wants for themselves. Ideology, religion, pride. Wars are fought for those objectives all the time. And once those objectives have been met, the war comes to an end. Either that, or the war will end when the overall human cost outweighs the gains. Anger and hatred are nothing more than tools used to tilt a war in someone's favor. Warfare is just a form of negotiation.
Yeah, I mean,
Not
like,
bad.
it's a form of negotiation.
Not bad, not bad.
I mean, we already watched this anime already, ma, on 1-0.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, for me, my respect of this movie, right, at Noir Zero is like, it's better than Gundam in many ways, because I think only Gundam Gundam 00 is a success. I think the rest of the Gundam still have a lot of things to learn. But I think at Noir Zero make things clear, simple and clear. I mean,
Yeah.
it's more, even though there's a lot of ridiculous stuff, but overall I would say at Noir Zero should be the best war movie.
Mecha movie.
Yeah, even better. I
Mecha
think
war
even
movie,
better
okay.
than Naruto, because Naruto is about war as well, but a lot of science fiction, right? You know, now Naruto is about alien, right? Alien technology.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, lah, right? We all know in future, right? This is what the future is, you know, holds. War will end when, you know, when objectives are met,
Yep.
or, you know, when the human cost is costly.
Yep.
But nevertheless, right? You know, the only the only the victims actually war, right, has no winners or losers. I mean, of course you can say that the beneficiary will be, you know, US or China and Russia, but in the end of the day, right, you know, the people there are just survivors.
Yep.
Victims. So unfortunately, from the very beginning, right, I already know that actually way before that, right, I didn't know that there are many videos about prior to the Ukraine war, there's videos about, you know, Ukraine is in a very terrible geopolitical situation. Ukraine is a victim of geography. All these like very, very big headed titles lah. And way before that, I'm aware of, you know, there are many skirmishes and conflicts between Russia and Ukraine.
Mhm.
The only reason why, you know, they have a hatred is because, you know, they invaded and annexed Crimea. So that's why, you know, they started, you know, you know, accepting more aid from the US and accepting more aid from Western country, just to make sure, you know, they don't suffer the same fate lah. But in the end of the day, right, in the grand chessboard, right, are they really the winners? Because eventually, right, don't forget, you know, they loan you the money, right, to what to win the war. So let's say now that whether you win or you lose, right, will you be able to pay back the debt?
Yeah, but you're just talking about Ukraine, right?
That's what we've been saying lah.
Yeah.
Yes, correct.
But I would say it's just about survivor. I mean, even if United States is the country that caused the war, right? I would say it's also about the survivor of United States. So I would say it's very complicated, because war for you, right, is just the survival state for another country. It's like it's just like, you know, like 2008, right? Why Greece collapsed? Why Finland or Iceland collapsed? Why Italy collapsed? Actually, it's also United States, to be frank. Like even Credit Suisse, to be frank. Why Credit Suisse collapsed? United States. You see the problem, right? I, I mean, so like I remember like I mean last time I studied like the Lehman Brother moment, right? So so they divert the debt issue to other European country that has no chance of saving itself. Just that. So
Mm. Mm.
so like like in United States you have Federal Reserve, they can do a lot of stuff. But for European Union, right, they just cannot save anyone. Like everyone has to save themselves, but they got benefit by sticking together and stop the war. But but if the conflict is slightly bigger or like they can just because they can like how to say divide and conquer, right? So they find the weakest link in European Union. Like at the moment, just is a Credit Suisse. So it is the weakest. It's like the weakest link. So you see, the funny thing is, when Silicon Valley Bank screw up, then suddenly Credit Suisse also screw up. They actually went bankrupt. So I would say it's just they just pass the ball, right? Kick the ball and see who are the weakest link, and the weakest link will be destroyed. So I would say it's cruel. The world is cruel. It's just about survival. So you don't know that maybe Ukraine war has saved United States or the collapse of Credit Suisse have saved US economy. You don't know because it's crazy. I mean, I think I like the
That's
at Noah
why.
Zero. Yeah, the sci-fi at Noah Zero.
That's
Like
why, yeah, that's why, right? No matter how you see it, right? Even no matter how many facts or whatever sources you can get lah, the end is very clear. Conspiracy theory still has a room because why? A lot of facts are hidden. A lot of facts will never come to light until much later when we are dead.